This week on The Breakout, we're talking about
Army aviation, aka things that fly.
You know another thing that flies? The F-35. I'm Lee Farran.
And I'm Ashley Roque.
And we're filming this a little early because of the holiday on Monday, but Ash was at Quad A earlier this month to talk about Army aviation. What is going on in Army aviation?
So everyone sort of gathered in Nashville, Tennessee, just a few weeks after the Army unveiled its transformation initiative that has slowly unfurled cut after cut
Seems
after
like
cut.
change after change after change, and a lot of them came for Army aviation.
That's correct. Yeah. So a lot of nervous aviators and also industry waiting to see what programs have actually been cut and potentially what programs could be cut down the road.
And well, it also seemed like you spoke to a senior officer who said that this is not all set in stone. Don't freak out that much. We're still going to do some more analysis. What was that about?
Exactly. So Major General Claire Gill sort of addressed the press and said, hold on, we're doing an analysis of what the second, third order effects of this. We're going to present this to senior Army leaders so they understand if you cut this, this is like the second, third order effects.
Right,
here.
And how that's going to affect operations, how it's going to affect procurement, how it's going to affect development, a whole bunch of stuff they need to analyze. When we talk about specific platforms, what are we talking about here?
So I guess we could start with the unmanned systems. And so there's the Future Tactical UAS.
Foot to West, right.
Definitely not. And then there's also Shadow. FTUAS is the replacement for Shadow. Right. There was a competition with two companies. After several delays, the Army said, this is not the right competition. We're not asking for the right thing. Stand by. We might relaunch this.
And they're certainly going to want that kind of capability, a smaller drone capability. But they're also talking about Gray Eagle, the bigger, longer range.
Yep. Gray Eagle is there too. They can't procure right now, but they can still upgrade and potentially a new competition going to replace the Class 4.
And then there was some big news about Hades. I always forget what Hades means.
It's a spy plane.
Oh, of course, right.
It's a spy plane. The Army is working with Sierra Nevada Corporation and Bombardier to upgrade a commercial aircraft. They had been planning to buy 12, potentially 6 now. Everything could change there. And there was also engines.
Oh, what about the engines?
So there's an ITEP engine that was supposed to be going into the Blackhawks and the Apaches, potentially canceled. But again, they're waiting to see how the FY26 budget request shakes out. And then if there's money, maybe it goes forward next year, but that doesn't answer the problems about down the road.
So a whole bunch of stuff seems a little unsettled. Ash will be on top of all of it, as she always is. Go to breakingdefense.com for the latest. And when we come back from this ad break, we got something special for you.
At Leonardo DRS, our agility helps bring the ability to dominate in any scenario, on any platform, helping our warfighters accomplish the mission and get home safely. Leonardo DRS, our agility, your advantage.
And now we're going to turn to a special that the rest of the team did on the F-35, where it is now, where it's going into the future. Here's a clip.
The other aspect of politics that I just want to touch on briefly, Val, is the question of the current geopolitical environment, let's call it. And we've already seen Canada, say, hey, we're going to reevaluate whether we want to get more F-35s. We've seen some officials in other countries make similar comments, nothing quite as official as the Canadian statement. How much of a concern do we think this is going to be going forward for this program?
I mean, I think that there are two different ways to look at it. And if you talk to different experts, you're going to get different opinions. So I think one way to look at it is, this is a calamity that people are starting to doubt that America will be there, that America can be depended on, and that it's causing them to rethink the F-35 or, possibly new customers might not consider it as good of an option as they once would have. But I think there's another side of this, another group of people who might say, look, people can just kind of wait this out. They can say, look, we're not going to buy any jets. We're going to weigh our options and see if the political winds change. They might say, don't be too hasty in looking at Canada and say they're going to, drop out of the program. From a market or investor perspective, it's not going to be great for Lockheed Martin these next couple of years in terms of what sort of an impact that has on the F-35 program, because there are these questions. It is less assured than it was a year ago. Because the F-35 is such a singular product, there's a very real possibility that this does blow over and the program kind of moves forward. I don't know, JJ, do you agree?
Well, the F-35 has tremendous capabilities and countries love that fact, but it's also unprecedented in another way, in that it is a walled garden, right? Mm-hmm. If you're on the inside, You're on the inside, but it also means that you are reliant on the United States for parts. You're reliant on the United States for sustainment. All of the data from your aircraft goes back to the United States to get processed. The question is, do countries believe that the United States will allow them to operate an F-35 in the way that they wish to, for the missions that they wish to, or is a suddenly different United States going to try and restrict them somewhat? The other thing that gets to that point is the success of the aircraft. Right now, there's a huge order book for F-35 from around the world, many more aircraft than they can actually build. Right now, Lockheed has a cap of 156 per year. In order to fulfill the outstanding order book on a reasonable schedule, they'd have to be building at 175 to 180 per year. Will countries look at that line and say, I have to get at the back of that line if I order now, or I can go buy a GCAP, Global Combat Air Program, next generation aircraft for something like the same cost? There are more options than there used to be.
All right, that's it for us this time. Make sure you like and subscribe to get these videos as soon as they're ready for you. And if you listen to podcasts,
Wherever you get your podcasts.
search for Breaking Defense and find us there. I'm Lee Farran.
And I'm Ashley Roque.
Until next time.